So the function of mind related to our intelligence is called buddhi, ruled by the Buddha. Buddha is the name of Mercury. Buddhi is the intellect. Mercury being able to follow our intelligence and act upon it, make new choices and be flexible is related to Mercury. Yeah, so being able to follow our intelligence and act upon it, make new choices and be flexible is related to Mercury. Testing even our own beliefs is related to Mercury, the Buddha. Buddhi. To the Buddhi. We all know what's true, we all know what's right. We know it's right in our mind, we just don't do it. And many times, we don't know what's right, we're clouded by what's right because we're looking at what we believe is right, rather than what's actually right. So this capacity to integrate wisdom with intelligence is typified by Jupiter moving into Gemini. This is the big lesson that we're going to be working on the next year. Between June 2013 and June 2014, that's the big lesson. And you may be hearing this webinar at some point in between, because I plan on playing it several times, because we sort of get lost in astrology. And astrologers talk about a transit when it happens, and then it's as if it's over. This is a year-long cycle that we're all going to be working on. And it's a great opportunity to connect wisdom and beliefs, what you think you know, with your experience, where you test it and where you put it into practice. So let's look deeper into why Jupiter and Mercury show the change and transformation we're all seeking, because that's really what it is. We're all seeking to change and transform, but in the proper way, in the higher way, through intelligence and wisdom. We want to change and transform through intelligence and wisdom, not through life's painful awakenings and wrenching dramas. This is how too often we change. And I'm going to make that distinction right here. So these two planets, Mercury and Jupiter, are the true bringers of transformation, the type of transformation we are all seeking. They rule the dual signs of transformation, stereotypically where seasons change and life is fluid. So the signs that are ruled by Jupiter and Mercury are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. They exist where energy is in flux, and it's where we naturally want to change. Life is 1/3 change, because 1/3 of the time we're under the influence of these dual signs, these changeable signs. 1/3 of life is starting new things, which are related to the cardinal signs. 1/3 of life is hanging on to what we got and stabilizing it, which is related to the fixed signs. And 1/3 of life is changing and transforming and saying, this isn't working anymore, what about this? It's a natural part of life to change and transform. And we change and transform naturally relative to those signs. There's 4 elements of change and transformation. Gemini is air, Virgo is earth, Sagittarius is fire, Pisces is water. So relative to like emotional change and transformation, Pisces, intellectual change and transformation, Gemini, material change and transformation, Virgo, inspirational change and transformation, Sagittarius. This is how astrology works. You just connect these, and these are deep principles. If you're not really looking at astrology and astrology signs this way, you're not getting it, really. I mean, these aren't just, oh yeah, I know that. That's just kind of the simple thing. It's not the simple thing any more than your heart pumping blood through your body is the simple thing. It's foundational and core to the whole thing working. You might go to the doctor for something subtle, but if you suddenly have a heart attack, he's going to forget about that and keep you alive. This is the DNA of astrology, the elements and the signs and the planets that rule them, and these deep principles. So Jupiter and Mercury show the change and transformation we're all seeking because they rule those dual signs. These are the signs where we naturally transform, where we want to change, where we're trying to change and feel free. That's what the dual signs are about. They're about freedom and intellectual freedom and spiritual freedom. That's what Jupiter and Mercury really represent. That hope that lets us look beyond, and that intelligence that says, oh, I'm not just condemned to make the mistakes of the past. I have choices. I'm free. I understand that now. So this is what makes us truly transform. So as I say here, too often astrological transformation is assigned to Scorpio in the 8th house, things, death. But those are the painful transformations, the one we're avoiding usually, that we also need to face. So you should stop thinking about astrological transformation as only related to painful transformation. And this is also mapped over into life. You should stop thinking about life as just painful transformation. That's one way to learn and grow. There's the painful way to learn and grow, and there's the natural way to learn and grow. But the natural way to learn and grow with these dual signs is going to challenge us to be more intelligent, to be more flexible, to challenge our own beliefs, to challenge our own dogmas, to be more curious and creative about them, to connect what we think we've already learned and what we think we already got figured out in our mind, which is Mercury, with a higher purpose, which is Jupiter. So uniting Mercury-Jupiter themes are huge in bringing about the type of transformation we are all seeking as human beings, rather than always thinking that change and transformation is going to be the painful kind. Because the truth is, even 8th house Scorpio changes are not painful when we've already handled the Jupiter-Mercury Aries of life. If we've already, once we start to handle those things, and we start to connect the details of the world and the stimulation of the mind and the world, which can happen with Mercury stuff. We can just get ensnared in all the details and forget the bigger picture. Jupiter-Mercury relationships show that we need to connect the details of Mercury with the bigger picture of Jupiter, with a greater sense of meaning and purpose. We also need to take those beliefs and those dogmas of Jupiter out of the ethers and bring them into our interactions with other people and into the details of life. So again, this is the change and transformation we're all seeking, and we need to stop thinking that change and transformation is just Scorpio, 8th house, sex, death, tragedy. That is 8th house. It's the things we can't control. Death, literally, pain, those things we can't control, where we realize the fragile nature of life. The great Rishi Parashara calls the 8th house the Randra Bhava, which means Randra means like a rip or a tear, where the fabric is ready to give way at any moment. As soon as there's some pressure there, it breaks. So it's that area of life where we know that no matter what happens here on Earth, we can't control it. All those things we fear, when we fear death, or we think that this is who we really are, when we're hooked into the matrix of separateness, that just this life and this physical body and all the things that we're attached to in the world, when that's all there is, we're going to be gripped with fear, because deep in our subconscious, we know that's not all there is. And we can't hide from it, because again, the Jiva, which is the moon, has lived millions of lifetimes, and it'll hunt us down in our dreams. We can't escape it. It's true. And once we face that, we realize it's not so bad. Then we don't fear it so much. But to face it is the Mercury-Jupiter stuff. Being more intelligent, being more inspired,